maybe it's interesting to tell a little bit about how I discovered Bitcoin, because I think it also is something that's a concern of many people and will be a concern of many more people in the future. I was looking for solutions to protect myself and to help protect my readers. I had a financial newsletter against the instability and the risks that are inherent to the financial system, and increasingly we're seeing that the crises are happening. And I was spending time in Latin America to learn about how individuals act, how entrepreneurs act, how people protect themselves against uncertainty, something that we have a lot less experience with in post-war Europe and post-war United States. And it was in Buenos Aires that I learned about Bitcoin for the first time. And my friends there, their passion really made me see a bit earlier than most the importance of Bitcoin and the cryptocurrencies. Why is it important? It's important because it is private money. Almost for the first time in hundreds of years, we are seeing an actual, tangible, useful in everyday life form of private money, which means that you can autonomously guard your own monetary value. You can transport it to anybody in the world instantaneously for free. Nobody can stop you. And there is no person in the middle. There is no party you have to trust in order to do that transaction or in order to store your capital. And so that's incredibly important, I think, if we want to have an economy in which saving is promoted or rewarded. So that's what we have today with Bitcoin. Bitcoin is busy, is going through a process of what you could call hyper-monetization. So in the beginning, it was still more like a toy, something new, a novelty item. And then eventually some people, they started selling some socks for Bitcoin. Somebody else, they sold a pizza for Bitcoin. Over time, there were exchanges developed, so people could actually create liquid markets of bid and ask. So we started having market prices. And increasingly, more and more retail companies decided to accept Bitcoin for payment because, in the first place, because the transaction cost is so very low. So if you have an internet business with low profit margins, if you can drop your cost per transaction from 2 to 5%, which is PayPal, to 0 to 1%, which is Bitcoin, it makes a huge, huge difference. Another market is the remittance market. People that are working abroad want to send money home. Well, they pay between 6 and 20% per transaction, which is, I mean, incredible if you think of the effort that's required to gather that money in the first place. This post-taxes, you are trying to send money that you already pay taxes on. And then you still, just to electronically send it to another place in the world, you pay 20%. Sending an email is free, so why is it so difficult to send value, economic value in electronic form over the world? And the reason is, of course, that we are living in a centralized system. We are living in a situation of central financial planning. I mean, the system of our current banking system is not very, very different from that in socialist republics, and it was also, that's how it was designed. So what we have is this very bureaucratic, bloated system whereby every problem is, they try to fix it by adding more and more layers of bureaucracy. And I think that if you want to really change things, it's sometimes better to just build a new paradigm. And that's really what's happening in Bitcoin. They call Bitcoin, well, you have to understand that Bitcoin is not just a currency. It's a payment platform like PayPal. It's also a protocol like the internet. So you have a basic layer of code and people can build layers on top of that. In the beginning, the internet was just email. But then people started making websites, and then those websites became more and more sophisticated. So from that perspective, we are maybe in 1993, if you think of Bitcoin as the internet of money. So there are many, many developments to come, but already we have Bitcoin-denominated stock markets. We have developing, small but developing Bitcoin bond markets. So people that want to borrow money can do that today. They don't need to be of the right nationality. They don't need to have the right papers. They can actually build up their own reputation. What kind of other markets are we going to see? Well, Bitcoin is actually a platform for the exchange of contracts. So any kind of contract imaginable can be transported, can be used on the Bitcoin network. So in the future, we can even see the registration of real estate transactions. These are things that can happen and that will eliminate a lot of costs and that will make it possible for people that maybe have little amounts of capital or that don't have the right connections right now or that struggle with the barriers to entry, all the paperwork they have to file, to actually directly participate in this new developing economy. So these are just some thoughts about Bitcoin, what it is, what it can be useful for. It's growing by about 10% every month. The value of all the Bitcoins combined has grown for the past 5 years consistently by at least 10x every year, so 1,000%. We were at around 100 million last year. We are now at, let's see, 100 million, no. Yeah, I think so. We almost did 20x this year. We are over $11 billion worth for all the Bitcoins together. So it's really an invitation to look it up and read about it. There's a Spanish website called elbitcoin.org. The people that run it, they are my friends. They're the ones who introduced me to Bitcoin for the first time. They have the highest integrity, so I really encourage you all to have a look at the website. All the information is free, it can be a starting point for your journey into this very exciting new world of money.
What's the website?
elbitcoin.org.
Where can you find Bitcoins?
Where can you find Bitcoins? So you mean here in Guatemala or elsewhere? Here in Guatemala, you can go to localbitcoins.com and you put in Guatemala City, and then you will find people that have Bitcoins for sale. You can either meet them in a physical location, or there are intermediaries like OKPay or other bank intermediaries that will allow you to send that money. If you have a US bank account, then you can set up an account with an exchange. There are many exchanges. For example, Kraken.com, Kraken.com, which is a very reliable exchange that accepts dollars. There is also Coinbase.com, Coinbase.com. And these exchanges offer web wallets. So they offer online storage of your Bitcoins. I recommend always to look for a solution where you have private control. So you have your Bitcoins in your own possession. You don't trust the third party. But to get started, these places are great. And as you buy it or as you get involved, you will learn more. And I think the moment you have some in your possession, it does not have to be multiple Bitcoins. It can be just, people talk about milli-Bitcoin. 1 milli-Bitcoin is almost $1. If you have a few, you will realize how we have been living in really something like a financial gulag. It's effortless. Once you have it and you send it to your friend, they can be in Iran, they can be in China. It's really, I would really recommend, even if you are skeptical, just buy a little bit and play around with it. Does that answer your question?
Yeah, they've been trying to buy Bitcoin.
Okay. I have some. I mean, I have a paper wallet, I can actually, up until it's like $20, I can help you today.
When you say you can store your own Bitcoin, it's like a little better like a cloud because it's an algorithm that you're gonna store in your computer, right?
So it's not literally storing it yourself. Actually, what you are storing is the secret access code. The Bitcoin ledger, which is like a registry that has a history of all the Bitcoin transactions, this is in the cloud. So this is situated in all the nodes in the network. Every one of them has a copy of the entire Bitcoin ledger. So what you basically store in your own possession is the private key that gives you access to one of these numbered accounts. Does that make sense?
Yep.